So here we go now. Department of Justice getting ready to report on this alleged Biden-era crackdown on parents and parental rights. David Spunt's in Washington, D.C. with more on what's happening here. And David, what you find out there, huh?
Hey, Bill, a formal investigation is underway right now at the Justice Department. Yesterday, leaders there insisted the former DOJ under the Biden administration, quote, targeted parents, a charge those who worked for then Attorney General Merrick Garland would deny. Fox obtained emails from October 2021 that show senior DOJ leaders were uncomfortable with a memo that then AG Garland sent out soon after to the FBI about school board meetings. The memo instructs FBI agents to be on alert for any threats to school board members and was written just days after the National School Boards Association wrote to President Biden, equating some parental behavior across the country to, quote, domestic terrorism, end quote. However, Garland's memo does not use the word domestic terrorism. Garland wrote on October 4th, 2021, in part, to this end, I'm directing the Federal Bureau of Investigation, working with each United States attorney to convene meetings with federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial leaders in each federal judicial district within 30 days of the issuance of this memorandum. These meetings will facilitate the discussion of strategies for addressing threats against school administrators, board members, teachers, and staff, and will open dedicated lines of communication for threat reporting, assessment, and response. But 2 days before Garland released his memo, a senior DOJ official wrote of the memo, quote, stupid, 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 end quote. Another replied, quote, if they do this, they might as well rename the damn thing the Anti-MAGA Task Force, end quote. Now, Bill, the NSBA, the School Boards Association, eventually apologized for the memo. The current DOJ plans to issue a public report on its findings in the coming weeks or perhaps months. Bill.
Okay, all right. David Spunt, more to come on that, I do believe. Thank you, David. Jackie's got more right now.
All right, let's bring in Marc Thiessen, a Fox News contributor and former speechwriter. Marc, I want to just ask about what David was just telling us, that apparently there was some warning that went all the way to the top at Biden DOJ about this memo, and it was ignored.
Yeah, it's not surprising that career people in DOJ were unhappy with this. And look, Merrick Garland lied when he said, "Oh, I didn't use the word domestic terrorism." The order I wrote about this in 2021 when it happened. He ordered the creation of a task force consisting of representatives of the department's National Security Division to determine how federal enforcement tools can be used to prosecute these crimes. The National Security Division was created under the Patriot attack to protect the country from terrorists. So if you're employing the National Security Division to investigate parents complaining at school board meetings about their children being daughters being sexually assaulted by males in women's locker rooms and bathrooms, school closures, mask mandates, and radical gender and race ideology, you're treating them as domestic terrorists. It doesn't matter if he used the term domestic terrorist, though that is what the school board asked him to do. And he did it. He did exactly what they asked. He employed the National Security Division. So this absolutely has to be investigated because it's one of these many unresolved scandals of the Biden presidency that need to be resolved as soon as possible.
Yeah, you wonder where this is going to go. It seems like this is just the first stone to be unturned, and maybe could be many more. I want to get your take on this, though. Ken Griffin is doubling down on his fight with Mamdani. You got a headline in Bloomberg today. Griffin supercharges his Miami bet after Mamdani tax fight. He's taking his building plans there and fleeing the city in some fear after this viral video that Mamdani shot in front of one of his penthouses. Look at this video.
When I ran for mayor, I said I was going to tax the rich. Well, today, we're taxing the rich. This is an annual fee on luxury properties worth more than $5 million, whose owners do not live full-time in the city. Like for this penthouse, which hedge fund CEO Ken Griffin bought for $238 million.
You literally looked at the first time and you're like, you got to be kidding me. Okay? And then the second time you're like, you know what, this has gone from creepy to actually not really creepy. This has gone frightening. You know, Mamdani's making it really clear. New York doesn't welcome success.
I mean, so many questions on this. One, what's it going to cost the city? Is this just the first, horse out the gate? Could we see more people fleeing? And this is also what Mamdani was warned about from the very beginning, that you've got to keep the wealth in the city for the sake of all these programs you want to fund.
Yeah, so Mamdani is a socialist, so he can be forgiven for not understanding that his job as mayor is to attract capital to New York, not drive it away. That's what you want to do if you're leading the city of New York, and he's driving it away. And you know, Ken Griffin said that this was a direct result of Mamdani's decision to impose this tax, and Kathy Hochul, by the way, as well. And more people are going to follow. And you know, it's New York's loss, but it's America's gain, because all these people taking capital and their bodies out of the state are going to give after the 2030 sentence, Republicans are going to, red states are going to gain 14 congressional seats and 10 electoral college votes. So they're going to pay a price for this at the polls in a big way.
You'd think that California would be an example people could learn from. But all right, Marc Thiessen, thank you so much.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.